For day 6 of our series on fantastic books, Willa Cather, Willa Cather, Willa fucking Cather. Just look at her. Doesn't she look like one of the greatest writers to ever come out of America? Today I'll look at the Prairie Trilogy, but I've read about 2/3 of what she's written now, just over the last couple of years, and I'm gonna finally say it. Along with Herman Melville, she is my very favorite writer of fiction. Nobody can compare to her depthful look at both human nature and I believe the purpose of why we're here. And she just slips it in so quietly, so sweetly. O Pioneers is the first book in the trilogy, and it's the book that she's most known for. So if you haven't read anything by her, feel free to start here, though really any book she's ever written is fantastic, at least everything I've ever seen. And this is just a great look at what the middle part of the United States was like at that weird time between the Native Americans getting kicked off and the pioneers from the Europe coming and turning it into farmland. And this difficult, beautiful, sparse land, it's such a love story to this place where she grew up in Nebraska. But Willa Cather was an artist in this little farming town. And so she frequently tells the stories of artists who come from their small communities and go out into the world. So in this book, The Song of the Lark, it is about a young piano player slash singer who's good. And she lights up her town, and eventually her family sends her to Chicago, and she struggles and keeps struggling until she gets world famous. And that's where the book stops. Willa Cather is fantastic at looking at the evolution of an artist and the artist's journey from where they came. She was surrounded by artists her whole life, and she had a keen eye for the difficulties of what that took. And finally, My Antonia, which is a reminiscence between two old friends about a woman in their hometown who was just fantastic and everybody loved and really represented what was so great about the people who stayed in that town and the lives they lived, and how you can be in a place like that and be so much bigger than life in a sense, and really taking life for all it is worth and doing what's right with it. It's a beautiful meditation on being in one place, being in farmland, and still being true to yourself. Two last things to note that make Willa Cather so special are the pacing of her books and the terribleness that you can see in them. With the pacing, even though they're small books, she often follows a character through to the end of their life. And even though it doesn't seem like the book is long enough for that, she just selects and prunes so carefully at what's important that you get the whole sense of their life and get to see it through. And the other thing is, she'll drop in anecdotes that are just terrible about human nature or something to happen. And it just makes all of it feel so much more real because life obviously isn't always happy. And she is honest about that. She is the top.